Hello, hello, hello everyone. Hello. Hola, hola a todos. Bienvenidos. Hola. Hola, hola a todos. Bienvenidos a un nuevo en vivo. Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to a new live stream. How's it going? I hope everything is great. ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Today we're going to learn about the verb llegar, and 5 uses, meanings, uses. We will look at some examples. We will learn a lot of vocabulary, and in general, we will learn how the verb llegar works in Spanish, the most common meanings, and more definitely. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members: Christopher Michael, Ruby Brockenberry, Brianna L, Gregory Ramirez, Michael Lee, Regulation D, Hanko Juan, Roy W, and Christine. Welcome guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being a Cafecito member. I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting this channel. If you want me to give you a shout out, you can become a Cafecito member. The only thing you gotta do is you need to click on the join button down below. You can see it down below this stream. You will see the button join. Essentially, you are buying me a cup of coffee. I love coffee. Amo el café. And there are other perks when getting this membership. The fee, I believe, is less than $3. So it's very cheap. Very cheap. No pressure though if you get a chance, and if you like what I do, and if you can support a bit more than giving a like to this live stream, just feel free to check that membership out. Excellent. Remember that I'm live streaming, so if you want to interact with me, if you want to ask questions, if you want to say hola or hello, if you want to practice your Spanish, if you want to share examples, feel free to use the live chat for that. The only thing you gotta do is you gotta subscribe to this channel. That's for free. So just click on that subscribe button. Excellent. Now, let's talk about the verb llegar. What does it mean? Llegar. Llegar can mean quite a few things. We will learn 5 meanings. The first meaning is going to be pretty much the most basic meaning of llegar, and then we will learn more meanings, and some of them are advanced, some of them are easier than others, but we're going to talk about them, and I'm just gonna break everything down for you, so don't worry. Okay, llegar. Let's see what this means. Let's talk about the basics of the verb llegar. Let's see. Llegar. Some people pronounce this llegar. Why? Because the Spanish world is big, so there's different some different pronunciations, nuances, when pronouncing different words. The double L in Spanish can sound like the W in English, like llegar, right? Or it can sound more like a J, the English, the J sound in English. Llegar. Both sounds are perfectly fine. Um, they're they're okay to use in Spanish, so don't worry about that much. So it's up to you which one you want to use, right? Which sound you would like to use. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that that's an important thing to notice. Now, the most basic meaning of the verb llegar is to arrive or to get somewhere. Sometimes it also means to be somewhere, but essentially you're arriving to a place or getting to a place. You know, you are getting to work, you're getting to your home, you're getting somewhere else. You know, you can't be going, I mean, people go to places, right? So you have to get there. So this verb is useful in those situations if you want to just say, hey, you know, what time are you getting here? Hey, what time is your flight arriving? You know, so this is a very good and helpful verb to learn. For example, llego en 10 minutos. Llego en 10 minutos. Llego en 10 minutos. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means I'll get or I'll be there in 10 minutes. This is also another thing that you can do when using the verb llegar. You can say, hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. So it's a good verb for those situations. Okay, let's break this down. Llego, yo llego. We don't need yo. We don't need yo. We need llego. Why? Because this is the verb llegar. Llego. It's a different pronunciation because in perfect past tense, you can say él llegó. He got somewhere, right? But this pronunciation is different. Yo llego. Llego. So it's two different pronunciations. The difference too is the accent mark. If you have an accent mark there, that's perfect tense. And you're saying él llegó, ella llegó. Okay, so that's past tense. He arrived, he got somewhere, or she got somewhere, she arrived somewhere. Okay, so keep that in mind. We don't have an accent mark, so that means the pronunciation is llego. Yo llego. And that means I'll get or be somewhere. We're not saying there in Spanish. Llego. You could say llego allá, because allá is, you know, there in Spanish. But if I mean, you don't have to. You can just say llego and then the rest. You don't have to say llego allá. Okay. Why? Because it's easier, it's faster. The verb llegar is already telling you that you're gonna get somewhere, so you don't have to say allá. Okay. You can if you want. It's correct to say it as well, but you don't have to. So yo llego means I'll get there. Okay. En means in. En can mean in, on, at. So another great word in Spanish that has multiple meanings. But in this situation, because we're talking about time, it means in. Okay. Diez means 10. Okay. 10 minutos. Minutos means minutes. Llego en 10 minutos. I'll get or be there in 10 minutes. This one is quite easy. This example was quite easy. Now let's look at the next example. ¿A qué hora llega su vuelo? ¿A qué hora llega su vuelo? ¿A qué hora llega su vuelo? This means what time does his or her flight arrive? Okay, so now you're talking about some flight, right? So you can use the verb llegar in that situation as well. You just want to know when does or what time does the flight or the plane lands, okay? So, or gets to the destination, arriving to the destination. Let's break it down. A qué, let's include a qué can mean what? Specifically when talking about time. So when you say a qué hora, hora means hour in Spanish. A qué hora the whole phrase means what time, even though hora means hour. So it's similar to saying what time. ¿A qué hora? ¿A qué hora? What time? And this is a common question in Spanish just by itself, just to say what time something's going to happen. Okay? So we have the verb llegar, llega, that is conjugated, of course. And llega means arrive. And let's include dos. Why? Because in Spanish, we don't have something similar to das. We or do when talking about a question. When talking about a question, we don't have that. We just have the verb conjugated. Okay? So, ¿a qué hora llega? Means what time does something arrive? Okay, or someone. Su can mean his or her. Also, you're polite. Okay, you're polite or formal. So that also, su means also that. So in this situation, we're talking about his or her. Okay, could be your as well. But the next word, let's continue. The next word is vuelo. Remember the V sound in Spanish is similar to B as in bell. Vuelo, and that means flight. ¿A qué hora llega su vuelo? What time does her flight arrive? Okay, so interesting. If you want to talk about getting to a place or arriving somewhere, you can use the verb llegar. That's the most basic meaning of this verb, llegar. Okay? Do you guys have any questions? Hello, Hassan. Coffee prices gone up, maestra. Wow, really? That's crazy. That's bad news. So that means I should increase the membership. The Cafecito membership just a little bit. Okay, I'll think about it. Thank you, Hassan, and welcome. Thank you for sharing. Welcome. Bienvenido. Just let me know your questions about this verb llegar, if you have any. In the meantime, let's move on. Let's continue. Let's talk about the next meaning of the verb llegar. Okay. Llegar a tiempo. Llegar a tiempo. This is another great phrase using the verb llegar, and it's very commonly used in Spanish as in any other language, really, because it's just a common thing that happens to all of us. So, llegar a tiempo means to get somewhere on time. When you gotta be somewhere on time, this is the phrase that you want to use. Or if you want to let someone know, hey, just be on time, get somewhere on time. It's also similar to be on time, get on time. I mean, it means get somewhere on time. Tiempo in Spanish means time. Tiempo, el tiempo. It's a masculine noun. El tiempo means time. A tiempo means on time. So you can even just use this phrase here, a tiempo, and that means on time. Okay? Llegar means to get somewhere. Okay? To get somewhere or to arrive somewhere, like I said a minute ago. But the whole phrase, llegar a tiempo, means to get somewhere on time. Now, let's see some examples using this phrase. Siempre trato de llegar a tiempo al trabajo. Siempre trato de llegar a tiempo al trabajo. What does this mean? This means I always try to get to work on time. You want to be at work on time. That's a good idea. That's always something you gotta do. You need to be on time. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's see how this sentence works. Siempre means always. Siempre. Yo trato. We don't need yo. You can say it. You can say, rather, you need to say it here. Yo siempre trato. You don't need to say yo. You can say siempre trato, and that means I always try to do something. Okay? Let's include de, because de, trato de, means to try to, or try to in the situation. Tratar de. Trato comes from the verb tratar, and that means quite a few things. In this situation, it means, or it's similar to try, okay? But it means a few things. We should talk about the verb tratar. Tratar means to treat. For example, if you need to, you always should treat people nicely. So we're talking about that. For example, I can say, we must treat elders well. In Spanish, hay que tratar bien a los mayores. Okay. Also, tratar means to try. And that's what it means right here. But we should talk about this verb tratar, because it also means to deal with, and it means to be about. When you're explaining what something is about, you can use the verb tratar. So it's a great verb. We can talk about it in the future, but in this situation, trato de means try to do something. Okay. And then we have llegar a tiempo, the phrase that we're learning. Llegar a tiempo. It's right here, and that means to get somewhere, in this situation, to work, right? on time, to get somewhere on time. Get on time. And then we have the place, so the somewhere. Al, remember, al means a él. Technically, I mean, it doesn't mean a él. It's just a él. When you have a, él, I've said this before, but when you have a and él together, that means, or what you gotta do, is to make it one word. Al. Grammar, Spanish grammar. If you're wondering why, it's just grammar. It's how it works. It's a rule. You gotta follow it. And also, it flows nicely. If you say a el trabajo, that sounds a bit, not complicated, but it doesn't flow as nicely as saying al trabajo. Okay? A el trabajo, al trabajo. So it flows better. Okay. Now, al means to thee. We don't have it here, okay? We just have to. So it's similar to saying that, al, to, but essentially it means to thee or to the, okay? Then we have trabajo. Trabajo means work. Trabajo can also mean job. It can mean work as well. So this word has two meanings. Siempre trato de llegar a tiempo al trabajo. I always try to get to work on time. Excellent. Now, let's look at another example. Let's see what we have here. Si salimos ahora, llegaremos a tiempo a la reunión. Si salimos ahora, llegaremos a tiempo a la reunión. This means if we leave now, we will get to the meeting on time. So this is a great sentence. It's not that difficult. We're just saying, hey, we should leave right now so we get somewhere on time. Okay, so let's break this down. Si without the accent mark, same pronunciation as the one with the accent mark. Si and si. Si means if, without the accent mark. With the accent mark on top of the letter I, it means yes. Si, yes. Without it, same pronunciation. Si means if. Salimos, nosotros salimos. We don't need nosotros. Forget about nosotros. You can say it. You can say, si nosotros salimos, but it's longer. So you can drop the personal pronoun nosotros. Si salimos, salimos means we leave. Salimos comes from the verb salir. That verb means to get out or to leave in this situation. So, si salimos, if we leave, ahora, remember the H sound in Spanish is mute. We do not say it. There is no sound. The letter H has no sound in Spanish. So the pronunciation of this is ahora. Okay, it's not ahora. No, it's ahora. Okay, ahora means now. Llegaremos, nosotros llegaremos. We don't need nosotros again. We can drop it. We need the verb conjugated. Llegaremos. Llegaremos means we will. Let's include the whole phrase because this is the phrase that we're learning right now. Llegaremos a tiempo. That means we will get on time somewhere. And then after saying that, you can add the place. After saying llegar a tiempo, So right here is helping you to add more information. You're adding the location, the somewhere. So remember that you can have a second right here. Llegar a tiempo And the second helps you to add the destination. Okay? So similar to saying to in this situation. La, the reunión. Reunión means meeting. Reunión can mean meeting. It can mean gathering. Okay? So this word has two meanings. We could be talking about a meeting at work or a gathering with your friends. Okay, so interesting. Si salimos ahora, llegaremos a tiempo a la reunión. If we leave now, we will get to the meeting on time. Excellent. So this is a great phrase. Llegar a tiempo. To get somewhere on time. On time. Excellent. Do you guys have any questions? Hola, en serio para mí. So you've noticed that coffee is more expensive now. That sucks. Coffee is necessary. I mean, I love coffee. You don't have to drink it, right? You don't have to drink it. But I personally enjoy coffee a lot. Black coffee. No sugar, no cream, nothing. Just black coffee. That's the best. Don't increase. I won't increase that. It's okay. Oh man. Yeah, but everything is getting more expensive. That's for sure. That sucks. Okay. Excellent. We have another meaning, another use of the verb llegar. Oh wow. The next use is llegar tarde or llegar temprano. Llegar tarde or llegar temprano. So this is like two phrases. Llegar tarde or llegar temprano. So we're talking about time again. Okay? Tarde, temprano. Tarde can mean afternoon, and it also can mean late. Temprano is the opposite. Temprano is early. Okay? Early. Llegar tarde, llegar temprano. So, what are we talking about? We are talking about to be late or to be early somewhere. Those are the meanings. To be late, to be early. Llegar tarde means to be late. Llegar temprano means to be early. Okay? So let's easy breezy. So let's look at some examples using this phrase. Si no te apuras, llegarás tarde a la escuela. Si no te apuras, llegarás tarde a la escuela. This means if you don't hurry, you'll be late to school. So that happens. It happened to me when I was younger. My mom used to say this to me. She would say almost every morning, si no te apuras, llegarás tarde a la escuela. Okay? So it happens. It happened to me all the time. Si, once again, si without the accent mark means if. Okay? The accent mark usually goes on top of the letter I. That means yes, si, yes. If in Spanish also is si, but without the accent mark. No, si no. So this is another interesting thing that happens in Spanish. No can mean several things. Well, quite a few. Not too many things, but it has some meanings. No in Spanish can mean no. It can mean don't, won't, didn't. Okay? So it can mean those, or wouldn't as well. So it depends on the situation, but this word is technically just telling you something negative is going on right here, you know? So no in this situation means don't, okay? If don't, si no, technically that's the translation right there. Tú te apuras, te is a reflexive pronoun. It can mean you, okay? So in this situation, te apuras means you hurry, okay? Si no te apuras means if you don't hurry, okay? Apuras comes from the verb apurarse. Apurarse, remember the se at the end of verbs indicates that you can use reflexive pronouns like me, te, se, nos, os. Okay, so that's why we have a reflexive pronoun here. So reflexive pronouns can go before verbs as a separate word. So keep that in mind. So te apuras technically means you hurry. Okay. Llegarás. Tú llegarás. We don't need tú. Personal pronouns. We don't say them all the time. So tú llegarás means you will. In this situation, let's include tarde because we're talking about llegar tarde. Okay. This is the verb llegar conjugated, of course, for the personal pronoun tú. Tú llegarás, and it's future tense. So you will be late. Llegarás tarde means you'll be late. Llegarás tarde. You will or you'll be late. We're adding the destination. When adding a destination in Spanish, is a useful word. It works most of the times. When using this phrase, you can add a after. Okay, and that means you are adding the destination, you are adding more information to your sentence. So a means to in this situation, and then we have la escuela. La escuela, we don't have to this school here, but it's important to notice that we use definite articles in Spanish. La is one of them. And it's a feminine definite article. That means the, and then we have escuela, which means school. So technically you're saying if you don't hurry, you'll be late to the school. Of course, it's you don't say that in English, to the school. In this situation, right? It's more natural to say to school, right? So remember, Spanish, English, both are different languages. They work differently. So it's important to pay attention to those little details. Details. Okay? So, si no te apuras, let's read the whole thing over. Si no te apuras, llegarás tarde a la escuela. If you don't hurry, you'll be late to school. Wake up, kid. Wake up. You gotta go to school. Okay. Now, let's look at the next example using llegar temprano. Okay, we already talked about llegar tarde, which means to be late. Okay, now let's look at an example using llegar temprano. Llegué temprano a la cita. Llegué temprano a la cita. What does this mean? What does this mean? Do you know? Do you know? Cita. Cita. You know, we have the phrase we're learning right at the beginning, llegué temprano. So you know what that means. You know that adding a after helps you add a destination, the place where you're going to. But what la cita? What does it mean? La cita. Okay, let me tell you that this means I was early for the appointment / date. Cita can mean appointment and also date. So if you're dating someone, if you have a date, you can use cita. If you have some doctor's appointment, you can also use cita. Okay? Isn't that something kind of funny? It's a little funny. The good news is that you can just learn cita, one word, and it means appointment and date. So that's pretty cool. Llegué, yo llegué, yo llegué. You don't have to say yo, drop yo. Yo means I, of course. But if you say llegué temprano, llegué temprano means I was early or I got somewhere early. Okay? In this situation, I was early. This, remember, if you're adding the destination, you can just add a. Llegué temprano a. And in this situation, similar to saying for the, but it's more like it means to, okay? I was early to the appointment, something like that. That's the literal translation. So, llegué temprano a, I was early for the, or rather for, because we have la, right? So for, I was early for something. A. And la cita, even though that's not a place, it's, you're just saying what's going to happen, you know? So technically you can also add events. For example, it could be an appointment, it could be a wedding, it could be a party, okay? So you can also add events, not only destinations, okay? So the cita, once again, means appointment / date, okay? So easy. That was easy. Remember, llegar tarde means to be late. Llegué tarde al trabajo. I was late to work. That's not good. Llegar temprano. Llegar temprano means to be early. Llegué temprano al trabajo. I was early to work or I got to work early, rather. It's similar, same meaning, right? You just got somewhere early, or you're somewhere early. I mean, to be early, right? So llegar temprano, to be early. It's a good one. It's a good one. Remember, you need to know the conjugation of the verb llegar. Yo llego, tú llegas, él llega, nosotros llegamos, vosotros llegáis, okay? Ustedes llegan, ellos llegan, and so on. We have so many tenses in Spanish, just as in English, really. There's so many tenses. When learning a new language, so many tenses. Fun, fun, fun. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Sí, me encanta el café sin azúcar y con leche. I see. Llego temprano al trabajo. Good. That's a good example. Lindsay, hello. Perdóname. Llegué tarde a este live stream hoy. Don't worry. Just a little late, but not too late because, man, we still have two more meanings. So it's good that you're here, Lindsay. Welcome. Bienvenido, Lindsay. Or bienvenida, Lindsay. Bienvenido, bienvenida. Welcome. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Llegar a casa. Now we're talking about, getting to a place. We're not talking about time. We're not talking about early, late. We're talking about a place. You know what casa means, right? This is a very common word. La casa. Casa. Helps you add destinations, places to sentences. So when you say llegar a, you're arriving to, some place. Casa means house. Llegar a casa, you know the meaning, right? It's pretty obvious. It's quite obvious. This means to get home. It's important to learn this one because, if someone asks you, what time are you getting home? Are you almost home? You can say, hey, I got home early or late last night, for example, right? So it's important to learn something like this as well. And it's a simple meaning, just to get home, okay? Obviously, you can change casa to anything else. It could be, fiesta, casa, trabajo, hotel, okay? So you can change casa, but this term by itself, it's very common, okay? So let's look at some examples. Después del trabajo, siempre llego a casa cansado. Después del trabajo, siempre llego a casa cansado. And this means I always get home tired after work. It happens. A lot of people, when they get home after a long day at work, they feel tired. They feel tired. So let's break this down and let's see how this sentence works. Después, this word right here means after. Okay? After. Después, after. Del, de él. Remember, this is two words that when they're together in Spanish, they have to become just one word. Del. So you don't say de él. You don't need to. As a grammatical rule, del is a thing, and you have to follow that rule. Después del means, well, actually we need to include trabajo because we don't have del. Del in Spanish is of the. We don't have it in English, but después del trabajo means after work. You can just remember this. If you want to say after work in Spanish, you can say that. Después del trabajo. Okay? Remember, trabajo in Spanish can mean work and job. Okay? So that's pretty good. You don't have to learn two different words. So siempre means always. Have you noticed that the whole order of words is completely different in Spanish? It's interesting. So, después del trabajo, siempre, after work, always, yo llego a casa. You don't need yo. Drop yo. You can say llego a casa, and that means I get home. This is the term we're learning. Llegar a casa. You can have a la casa. Llego a la casa. You don't have to, but you can. You can also say llego a casa. A casa. Okay? And that means I get home. Cansado means tired in Spanish. This is masculine and this is feminine. Cansada, feminine. Cansado, masculine. Okay? Después del trabajo, siempre llego a casa cansado. I always get home tired after work. Or I'm always tired after work when I get home. I mean, it depends what order you want, right? You can say, siempre llego a casa cansado después del trabajo. So you can say this first, this whole part first, and then this. Just like you have it in English. Okay? It works. You can say, siempre llego a casa cansado después del trabajo. That's okay. Spanish is quite flexible. You can change the order a little bit, and it's going to be fine. It doesn't work all the time, but it often does. It often does. Okay. Now, let's learn or let's just look at another example. The next example is, ¿por qué llegaste a casa tan tarde? ¿Por qué llegaste a casa tan tarde? And this means, why did you get home so late? Why are you late? What happened? What happened to you? So let's break this down. ¿Por qué? This in Spanish means why. You can't just use it by itself. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? And that means why. Okay? Llegaste, tú llegaste. We don't need tú. We need llegaste because that's the verb conjugated. And let's include a casa because that's the term we're learning. Llegaste a casa. Get home. You. It's like saying you got home, okay? But in English, there's did, right? We don't have did in Spanish. We just use the verb conjugated, okay? Tú llegaste, present tense, past tense, and using the personal pronoun you, tú. We don't use personal pronouns in questions, specifically in the beginning. You can add some after, but when talking about the first action, you don't use personal pronouns. You cannot say ¿por qué tú llegaste? You could, but it's not a common thing to do in Spanish, okay? So, ¿por qué llegaste a casa? That means, why did you get home, okay? Tan means so. Tan, so. Tarde, late. You can use the term tan tarde, and that means so late. You can use it in many different situations, in questions, in just regular sentences, in different situations, of course. And tan tarde just means so late. Okay. ¿Por qué llegaste a casa tan tarde? Why did you get home so late? Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? Remember, llegar a casa means to get home. Another important phrase. Any questions? We have one more meaning. One more meaning of the verb llegar. No questions? Okay, let's move on. Excellent. So, the next phrase, the last phrase, or the last use of the verb llegar. Let's look what we have. Llegar lejos. Llegar lejos. Lejos, cerca. Cerca is the opposite of lejos, by the way. But we're not talking about cerca. We're talking about lejos. Lejos. Lejísimo. Just lejos. Lejos, llegar lejos means to go far. To go far, we're talking about accomplishments. We're talking about things that you can achieve or you want to achieve just to go far in life, You want, you have a gift. You sing really well. You can go far and be a professional singer, right? Or we could be talking about, just achievements in general. If you have some skill and you want to take it to the next level, okay? So you want to go far. That's what we're talking about. Lejos means far. Lejos means far. Llegar, in this situation, llegar means once again to arrive, to get somewhere. But in this situation, it's similar to saying, just to go. Llegar lejos, to go there, far, right? So let's look at some examples using this phrase. This is not a literal phrase, as I said before. We're talking about dreams, achievements, working on your skill that you have and you want to improve your life, You want to go far in life. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Quiero llegar lejos. Quiero llegar lejos. Quiero llegar lejos en la vida. Okay, so this is a more complex sentence. You are talking about your aspirations or what you want to do with your life. You want to just improve and just do your best, right? So the meaning of this phrase is I want to go far in life. So you're not specifically saying what you're gonna do, but you just know that you want to go far in life. So let's break this down. Let's talk about this sentence. Quiero. Quiero means, you can say yo quiero. You don't have to say yo once more. Once again, I've said that quite a few times already. But quiero means I want. Okay? Quiero, I want. Llegar lejos. Llegar lejos. By the way, quiero can also mean I want to do something, right? That's what it means. Quiero, I want to do something. You can also say quiero pizza. I want pizza, right? But you can also say quiero, and that can also mean I want to do something. In this situation, when you add, in every situation really, when you say quiero and you add a verb right after, a second verb, you don't conjugate that verb. You just leave it in the infinitive form. So with the AR, ER, IR endings, right? This one is AR. So llegar, that's the infinitive form. Llegar lejos. Lejos never changes. It doesn't change when using this phrase. So you only need to know the conjugation of the verb llegar, and then you can just leave this as is, lejos. Okay? Quiero llegar lejos. I want to go far. In. You need to say la vida. La vida. You cannot say en vida. En vida, if you don't include la, you're saying pretty much when I'm alive. Okay, so that's an important thing to notice right there. If you say quiero llegar lejos en vida, you're technically saying that you want to go far while you're alive. Okay, but if you say la en la vida, that means in life. In life. So you're not saying that while you're alive you want to go far. You're just saying that in general you just want to go far in life. Okay? So that's a small detail. Small detail. But they change it, the meanings can change. Okay? So quiero llegar lejos en la vida. I want to go far in life. Okay, let's look at another example, the last example. Oh boy. Con esa voz llegarás lejos como cantante. Con esa voz llegarás lejos como cantante. Okay? So this means with that voice, you'll go far as a singer. Okay? Now we're talking about something more specific. We're talking about a person who knows how to sing really well, and this person can go far. Like, this person can be famous, right? So that's interesting. We can use that phrase, this phrase, in that situation. Con esa voz, con means with. Esa means that. Obviously, this is feminine. Why? Because we're using a feminine noun. Voz looks masculine, but it's feminine. La voz. La voz means voice. Okay? Voz, remember the V sound. Once again, the V sound in Spanish is similar to B as in bell in English. Voz. And the Z sound is similar to S in the English S. Okay, so boss. It's like you're saying, BOSS, boss, like your boss, the person you deal at work. You deal with the person, you deal with your boss at work, right? You have to. Why? Because he or she is your boss. So same pronunciation. Voz. Voz means voice. Voice. Con esa voz, with that voice, llegarás lejos. Tú llegarás lejos. This is conjugated, the verb llegar, in future tense for the personal pronoun tú, you. You don't have to have tú here. You can just say llegarás. Llegarás lejos. You'll go far. Okay? Como means as. Cantante. You don't have to say un cantante, como un cantante. We don't have anything similar to in this situation. So we just have a singer. Okay? That's how it works in Spanish. Okay? You can change this profession to anything else. Can be, well, except you don't say this because you're talking about a voice, right? Like, you don't say that. But como, you can change after. If you want to add a profession, you can have a different profession. Doctor, cantante, artista, ingeniero, arquitecto. Okay, so you can, or arquitecta, so feminine, masculine, depends on the situation. Cantante, that one doesn't have a gender. So cantante can refer to a female singer, or a male singer. Okay, so como cantante, as a singer, como arquitecto, as an architect, como maestro, as a teacher. Okay, so but we don't have anything in between como and cantante. Okay, so just pay attention to those details. They're important. Try to remember that if you want to nail Spanish, you gotta pay attention to the details, and just how you gotta pay attention pretty much like to everything. Pay attention to everything. Just pay attention about it. It's just so many things, little details that Spanish has. Just remember, just don't translate from English into Spanish, and the other way around. It doesn't work all the time, and we have like a lot of details that you gotta pay attention to. Okay, so remember, llegar lejos means to go far in life, and that's another great Spanish phrase using the verb llegar. We learned 5 different meanings of this verb. We talked about time, we talked about destinations, we talked about things you want to do in life. Okay, So that's pretty good. To get home as well. Right? So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Lindsay, estudio todos los días porque espero llegar lejos en español. Great example. Great example. Really good. Really good. Yeah, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good, Lindsay. Thank you for sharing. Okay. That's it. I hope you learned a few things about this verb llegar, which can mean quite a few things, not a lot of things, but it has some uses, that's for sure. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, please give it a like. That helps me a lot. And also subscribe. That's for free, guys. Subscribe to this channel. Click on that bell icon that is next to the subscribe button so you can actually you need to turn all the notifications on if you want YouTube to let you know every time I go live or if I release a new video or a new short. You can get notified if you do that, if you activate all the notifications. And thank you so much for watching. I have a Spanish community on Discord. Feel free to join. That's for free. You can find the link to the server, to the Discord server, in the description down below. Read the rules before joining, and that's it. That's it. Thank you again to the Cafecito members. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Gracias por ver este en vivo. Nos vemos a la próxima. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And yeah, bye. Adiós. Hasta luego. Bye.